Hey scrapbook friends, it's Nicole and I'm here to share an idea with you for how to make a tie-dye t-shirt border using the new Jammies Chain border maker cartridge from Creative Memories. We're also going to be using the mirrored scallops chain border maker cartridge for the border, and the paper pack that I'm using is, of course, the tie-dye paper pack, designer paper pack. This works perfectly, of course, to make tie-dye designs. We had a family reunion this last summer and we did tie-dye t-shirts, so this is going to be perfect for me. So to make these two borders, you're going to just need a few pieces from the pack. We're going to use this pink and blue paper that has kind of the ombre on the back. We're going to use the stripe, the multicolor stripe. We're going to use this blue on blue. This is the back, but this is the side we're going to use. You're also going to need a piece of light gray cardstock and a piece of navy blue cardstock to make both of these borders. If you just want to make the first one, you just need this and a little navy, and then the second one, you use this. Use all three of them for the second one. So we're going to start with this one. You want to make sure that when you punch your border, I've already punched one of these off of here, but you want to punch where there's a lot of blue. So you see right here, there's the blue and the white. You got a lot of that variegation. If I were to punch on this side, I just don't think it would be as cute. If you just wanted pink and white, you could get it from here, but I want some of that blue. So I'm going to be sure to punch on this side with my border maker system. And you may just have to play around with it a little bit. We are going to use the back for some other things, so this section that doesn't have as much blue will not be wasted at all. So when I first saw this Jammies punch, I thought, well, you know, gee, I don't have a baby. I don't have grandbabies. I don't have, you know, a lot of little babies in my life. I don't think I'm going to have much use for this. But then I happened to be looking on Creative Memories Japan's Instagram page, and they had turned it, one of their advisors had turned it into t-shirts, which to me was just the most clever idea, because I got lots of t-shirts. I have lots of excuses to do a t-shirt, t-shirt layouts, and especially with the tie-dye. So what you're going to want to do to turn these into a t-shirt is cut off the little bottom of the onesie. The first time I tried this, I did just lay this in my trimmer and trimmed it off, but I didn't love the way it turned out. It was a little bit fussy to get it right where I wanted, and the line then was straight across. So I just found if I take my scissors and cut from like the top of the leg opening across either side, that it just is fast and easy. It really only takes, you know, less than a minute, and you get a little bit more variety in your edge of your border. So I'm just going to quick cut these off. And again, go back to the plug for CM Japan. If you are on Instagram, I highly recommend following some of their advisors. They do sometimes have different products than we get here in the US, but sometimes they get stuff before we do, and it's kind of like a sneak preview. Just be aware that once in a while they get something that we don't get, and sometimes that's heartbreaking. Little jealous of some of the stuff that they get, but they're so talented that, you know, I've gotten lots of ideas from them. Okay, so here is my little row of t-shirts. You see that didn't take very long at all. And now we're going to want to put it on a backing, and so you could use white for this. I think white would look okay. I chose to use the light gray, and the light gray is a little bit boring, and I think on the camera right now you can't see this detail, but we're going to put a little stitch detail on here using the perforating blade of our trimmer. All right, so you're going to want to swap out your straight blade. We're going to do this piece first. We're going to do the perforating blade. And then we're just going to cut this at about 1/8 of an inch. So if you look at your trimmer, the line closest to the logo is the line, the actual cutting line. And we just want a little hair of a border, so I'm going to use this 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to position my paper at the second line to get that 1/8 of an inch border. And I found with the perforating blade, I want to make sure that I press down well, because you can't really go down and back again without messing it up. The lines will overcut each other, and that can will just cut straight through. So here's cut number 1. Now this is a perforating blade. So if you, let's see, focus little camera. If you tear it, this would tear off, but we don't want to tear it. Okay, and then I'm going to cut this at 1 1/8. And I know we don't like fractions, but 1 1/8. I'm going to do another perforated line. And then I'm going to swap back in my straight blade and line my paper up at 1 1/4. So that I have now a 1 1/4 inch strip that has these little perforated lines, which to me totally look like stitched lines. And that's going to just give a little bit of interest to what otherwise might have been a slightly boring background. All right, and now I'm going to take my little t-shirt border and position this in the middle. All right, so there's our little t-shirts. Isn't that cute? Isn't that cute? And then we're going to do the little double scallop border. And you probably could, I wouldn't. You could probably cut one scallop border and cut it in half. That is just too fussy for me. I like easy. And so we're going to cut 2 navy borders first to start out of this navy cardstock, out of the double scallop border. So this double scallop is mirrored scallop border. This is one of the punches that Creative Memories is calling one of their 2022 evergreen punches. So this one is going to be around the whole year. If it sells out, they will reorder it. Probably they ordered enough extra that it's not going to sell out, but this is one that they have told us, their advisors, will be around for the year so that we can, you know, plan projects and show it without showing a product that you can no longer purchase. I always hate to do that. I always feel like a big jerk when I say, hey, look at this great thing. No, you can't have one. So the mirrored scallops is going to be around for a while, so I'm thinking we'll see lots and lots of ideas for it. So you notice on here, my paper hasn't kind of cut all the way through. That is really common, especially with cardstock. Paper manufacturing has a tolerance variance, I don't know what the word is, that it can be up to 1/8 of an inch bigger than the actual size, or even smaller sometimes. And so just if it doesn't quite work, just go ahead and trim that off. So while I've got my border maker out, I'm going to, besides these 2 navy, I'm also going to cut 2 from the pink back of this, I don't even know, eyeball paper. I don't know why I keep calling it that. It sounds kind of gross, but we're going to cut 2 more scallops from this. We're actually going to be cutting several scallops from this one. And I'm going to cut from both sides this time because I want my scallops to look, the pink to be the same on both sides. And as you get farther into the middle, this ombre look, it gets a darker and darker pink. So because I've already punched borders from both sides, the light pink outside is starting to disappear, and we're going to get to that dark pink. That's actually the one I like a little bit better for the other punch, so that's fine with me. But so you need, for each 12-inch border, you're going to need 2 of the mirrored scallops borders. Actually, it looks all right with the other side too, doesn't it? Okay, and then this does make a ton of trash, so I'm gonna scoot those away. Okay, so let's see if I can remember how I did this. Oh, I started with the blue, and what I like to do is to just put my adhesive on the back of the border itself. And I am using repositionable. You could use regular for this, and then I just had to eyeball it and kind of line up a line that's about the same width as the actual scallops. See, so it's about 1/8 of an inch, but it just kind of is an even line that does this half edge. Actually, that might not be quite straight. Maybe I'll use my grid. All right, and then we're going to do that on the other side as well. And the actual border punch piece itself is going to cover up any excess adhesive, or you can just go through and rub it off with your finger. So remember, this border was a little bit too wide and we had to trim it by hand. We're going to have to do that also on the end. So you see right here, it kind of, the blue kind of poked off the edge. That might not bother some people, but it will bother me. So, oops. Just going to trim that off. Okay. Apparently I have to trim on this end too because I didn't line it up right. All right, so there's our first step with the scallop. Now the other border, we're just gonna put on a solid piece. So you could do that if you don't want to do this piece. But with this one, I think it looks really cool to do a double layer of the scallop. So a little bit more adhesive. And so you see this has the white from the eyeball side and then the pink from the ombre side. I'm going to use the pink from the ombre side. And you just position so that the top of this scallop goes right at the where the punch out is, so that it covers up that hole. And it's just the right width. As long as you get it on here straight, it completely covers that hole in the back. So it looks like a shadow of that scallop layer. I don't know why this guy isn't wanting to stick down on this side. This is why I do like the regular adhesive. All right, so then gives you that cool double look. And we'll do the next one. Maybe I need a little bit more adhesive. Actually, how would have that would have looked? I might have liked that better with the white. I don't know, we'll do one side, well, I'll do one side with the reverse and one side with the ombre, and you can help me decide. So I'm just covering up any gaps that I can see. I think I kind of like the darker with the white. Because I use repositionable, well, no, I guess I can't because it was stuck down too hard. Okay, anyway, both of them go. It doesn't really matter. So there is our first border with the little stitching and the double scallop edge. And just make sure that none of the hole, the punched hole, is showing through. And then you get this cute double scalloped edge. So for the next one, we're going to use this stripe paper, and that's going to give us this fun variegated, lots of different colors of tie-dye t-shirts. You would not have to do this with tie-dye. You could do this with any paper pack. You could do it with something that matches your, you know, your sports team, your high school, your Disney trip, any of those things. This would be a cute border, even for like if you have pictures of a t-shirt quilt. I think that would be cute. I know that my daughter went to Hawaii a few years ago, and my husband is Hawaiian, and she bought him several Hawaii t-shirts to restock his supply. And I actually have pictures of him kind of doing a little fashion show to send to her. So that it would be fun with little, you know, maybe some little Hawaiian print paper or something. All right, here we go again. Just gonna snip these little guys off. If you don't exactly get it, and there's a little bit of that leg opening that shows through, it's not that big a deal. People aren't gonna look at it that closely. But I love this one with the multicolors, and I think this actually is probably the one that's gonna match our family reunion tie-dye t-shirts a little bit better. All right, couple little more little snips. All right. Okay, and then we're going to use this blue on blue paper. I wouldn't use this side, although I did see a really gorgeous idea where someone used this side. My friend Betsy used this side and punched the nativity punch, and it looked awesome. But for this one, we're going to use this side. I'm going to cut it at 1 inch, which is a little smaller than we did with the gray. So we're cutting this at 1 inch and using this as our background. And I think I want the darker line to the bottom. So this one really, really has a powerful contrast. I really like the kind of as a punch to have the difference with the dark blue and the colored stripe. And then we need 2 more pieces of that this ombre pink, and I'm going to cut a little bit more into this darker pink for this one. All right, and I'm just going to cut that and edit that part out, and when I come back, the scallop border will be magically punched out for you. Okay, voila, by the magic of video editing, here are our 2 mirrored scallop punch borders, and we're gonna go ahead and adhere them to the back of our little navy strip, the same way we did on the previous border. This time I'm gonna use my regular tape runner because this is going on a solid cardstock. It doesn't matter if anything shows through, and I just feel like the regular tape runner, it just makes me feel more secure. I don't mind the repositionable. I know that it is designed to grow more tacky over time, but I've been trained too well, I think, by the lessons of using permanent adhesive. So for this one, I'm not leaving that 1 inch line like I did on here. On this one, I left that kind of border. This one, I'm going clear to the edge of those scallops, just to be different. I mean, you know, there aren't a lot of rules in something like this. You do you, and you know, figure out what you like. I guess that would be the advantage to using repositionable, is if you wanted to do it, to try it a couple of different ways, you could. And of course, you can always lay this out before you actually put adhesive on it and figure out what you want to do. So there's this little border. You could leave it like this if you were going to use it maybe on a navy page or a dark colored background. But just to make it a standalone border, I'm going to go ahead and cut me a piece of navy cardstock at about 1 3/4 inches, which is the very last line you can measure on this side of the trimmer, is 1 3/4 inches. That's probably why I like it, because I love being able to cut on this side. All right, and again, I really didn't get much adhesive showing through, just a tiny bit, but just some adhesive on here, and we'll evenly position this on our piece of navy cardstock, and there's our second border. So you have 2 different options, just quickly happened with both of these borders, the one with kind of the pink and navy with the stitching detail, and then this one with the multicolor tie-dye. So I hope that this has inspired you. If you've got some kind of t-shirt layout that you might want to do, sports shirts, you know, you could even do this like with your kids' team photo, like, you know, if they're playing soccer and you got all the boys in their, you know, yellow bumblebees team or whatever, you could just punch this all in yellow and maybe do a little bit of pen art or something like that. So t-shirts using the Jammies Chain border maker cartridge from Creative Memories. I hope that this will inspire you to create some borders for your own layouts, and that you will share those with me over on my Nicole's Scrapbooks Facebook page. Thank you so much, and happy scrapbooking.